So Vanessa, when you saw it for the first time, what did you think? Because you'd been probably no one had been more intimately involved who hadn't
Yeah,
seen it.
I was really astounded at the scope of it. Although I had been, I mean, I think I've seen all of Guillermo's films, but I was particularly taken with the beauty and the epic sort of uh, nature and the colors of Crimson Peak. So I wasn't surprised at the sort of luxurious sort of depth of it and all the color, but I was stunned at the sort of scope because I had known that it wasn't being made for that much money, and I just thought, how on earth did this happen?
Yeah.
The Crimson Peak was 55,
Wow.
so much more.
Wow. That's kind of amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
they always look like more. You know, you ne- you I have a Troll Hunters. We do an animated series that we also try to make look really expensive. And I always, when I meet with my guys, I say they have a sign that is a saying I have that says, "Your expectations should always exceed the budget." You know, because that's the work of a director.
Yeah.
You need,
Yeah.
if they give you 30, it needs to look like 80.
Yeah.
If they give you 100, it needs to look like 200.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's harder to say it with something like Pacific Rim, because it was 195 but looked like 300. But that sounds like yeah. But it's a decimal point.
Yeah.
You know, Chronos was 195.
Yeah.
They will Pan's Labyrinth and this one 19 point, and Pacific Rim 195.
Wow.
The problems the same,
So-
same problems.
What was the hardest thing about this one in terms of
Surviving.
surviving? Yeah.
We had is one of the hardest shoots I've ever had. We had everything against us, everything, every day except for one day. We had major crises,
Wow.
weather, traffic, disasters, natural adversity, blah 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 blah. And my job as director is you shouldn't notice any of that.
Ah.
You should think, oh, it was unlimited budget, unlimited time. It's all luscious. That's my goal.
Yeah.
My goal is that I'm the goalie, and you're trying to get the ball into the, and I have to stop it.
Got to kick it out.
Yeah, but there was a lot of kicking. This movie was difficult. Like we have, to give you an example, the scene where Shannon tortures Stuhlbarg in the
Yeah.
in the sand pits
Yeah.
with all the giant sand.
Yeah.
Well, it was sub-zero temperature,
Oh my God.
and winds, hurricane level winds, that were hitting the sand, and the sand was literally embedding on everything and everyone.
Oh.
If you were a human, you found sand in places that shall never be mentioned, and a lot of sand, by the way. And if you were a camera equipment, sand was breaking the lens,
Oh my
getting
God.
jamming in, and we were losing cameras. We were losing the crane
Oh.
was malfunctioning, and then we had rain on top of that, sub-zero, and we had half an hour or an hour to shoot the scene, really
Wow.
quick. And this is like one, but there's one. Do you know the story of the lamppost? Anyone? Okay, I'll tell you that story because that defines what a director does very beautiful. Well, when we were scouting the exterior of the cinema, which we put the marquee, it was a theater, and I scout and I said, I want a crane. When Eliza comes looking for the creature, I want this Douglas Sirk low angle crane, as she moves around, and we spot it and we say, oh, there's a lamppost. We cannot use that crane. I want to have to settle for a dolly, blah blah blah. I'm really unhappy. The day comes, a horrible day. Everything goes wrong. We were supposed to use a drone, and there were winds, so the drone ended up in Mississauga. It just flew away. It couldn't be stable. Sally goes up the stairs, and she says, I have vertigo. I say, now you tell me? Everything starts going bad. And then comes the moment where we're going to shoot Shannon arriving in the car. He gets out of the car, goes up the steps. We do what is called a Texas switch, because those stairs are not connected if you see it again. So it's Shannon going up the stairs below, and another guy dressed like Shannon on the stairs above.
Oh my God.
And I lose him for a second, and you think it's the same guy, but it's not. That's what is called the Texas switch. And we're doing the Texas switch, and first take, beautiful. What Shannon had not told anyone, somehow, is that he really didn't know how to drive. He had driven in the past, but that's like me going to a synagogue. I don't go that often. It's really he gets into the car, and he the second take he gets out of the car, he leaves the car in drive. The car keeps driving without him. He jumps to try to stop it. The car won't stop. We see the car coming. I'm here on the video. Says the car is coming. And there's a tent between us, but the car is coming to kill us all. And the car goes and destroys the first lamppost. The lamppost falls in a shower of sparks, and everybody says run, which to me I don't understand that word. It's like speaking another language. I go, I never run.
Yeah.
So I go, I'm gonna die, and the car hits the final post, which is concrete, and stops.
Wow.
And everybody is horrified. I come out and I say, I can do my crane because the post is gone.
That's a great story. You know, I just have
That's one day of shooting.
One day of shooting.
You saw Darkest Hour?
Yeah.
Did you guys see Darkest Hour? Well, that's what the shoot was like. Like it was a Monday, and horrible things would happen, and then Tuesday, and you would go, "It's only Tuesday."
You know, one of the first times, I met you, it's almost, in Cannes last year. I ran into you at a party, and which it sounds like it's the only party in Cannes, but I said, what are you doing? And you said, I'm working on this little film, and you thought it was little because it was low budget, but it has captivated people.
Yeah.
Why do you think this has happened? I mean, this has become a real phenomenon.
What I find is, and this is gonna sound really corny, but it's real. I'm not exactly a happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, you're a storyteller. You're gonna be bound to be a disillusioned optimist, and sometimes when I reach the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, there are certain movies that literally have convinced me that I should live, because I go, it's not that great this life, is it? And you're really at the bottom of your barrel, and you go, and these movies come and rescue you, and that has happened to me with Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth, and this one. Those are the three that have done it.
Wow.
Where I am at the bottom, everything is going wrong in my life one way or another, and these movies, even if difficult as they are, they lift me out of that morass.
Yeah. And you think it did that for people as well?
Well, that's what I think is. Look, when people talk about success, it's a word I don't understand if it's not used about the depth of the connection. Because there are the reason the movie is a song to cinema, and not great cinema, Sunday cinema.
Yeah.
The one that you watched by accident on Sunday, halfway through the movie, and it lifted you.
Yeah.
A comedy that you don't know why, but you're like the end of Sullivan's Travels, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's happening, but he's laughing, and he
Yeah.
understands the purpose of cinema is to tell you, live a little, man.
Yeah.
Stay another day. And I wanted to make the movie that functioned like that would connect deeply with an audience. What I said, and this is the way the movie has felt for me, I wanted to make a song that people would come out of a theater humming.
Wow.
And that the feeling you have is the same you have in a convertible on PCH when a great ballad comes on and you pump it and you start singing. That's the feeling I needed as a healing thing.